Guys, despite what you're hearing about how good the economy is, I think you need to be thinking about stagflation, because I think we're in stagflation right now. If you stick with me until the end of this video, I'm not here to try to be political. I'm here to give you the facts. So I'm asking you to stick with me till the end of the video. It is for your own behalf. You need to know what looks like it's coming down the road for the American economy. Before I begin, I need to go to a few things, and they may seem a little irrelevant at first, but they will tie in. And one is about human beings. Human beings have three of multiple problems when it comes to things like concepts of time and numbers. It's hard for human beings to understand large numbers. It's also hard for human beings to understand exponential growth. And the third thing that it's hard for humans beings to believe, to understand, is time. The Inflation Reduction Act, which does nothing for inflation, and a number of other acts that were issued, is pumping money still into the economy that need not be there. I mean, I think about when the moratorium was over for rental insurance. It went on a year after COVID was over. There's still so much money from the White House flushing around the economy that quite naturally you're going to have inflation. Americans, the total debt America owes is $35 trillion. So that comes to, we're spending $2.5 million per minute. There's also there's $140 trillion in unfunded liabilities, such as Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. We just gave $95 billion to Israel and Ukraine. There was another $100 billion went to Ukraine. There's no accounting, no audits. Immigrants coming over the border. Stagflation is here. Every 100 days, America accumulates another $1 trillion in debts. $1 trillion is 10 to the 12th power. The Earth is 1 trillion meters from the moon. And if I took $1 trillion in single dollar bills, I covered the entire state of Delaware. I'm going through this because, as I said the year before, it's hard for Americans or any human being, to understand these large numbers. Now let's get specific. The federal funds rate is the rate that is charged to the banks for meeting their overnight demands when they open. What that means is that each bank has to have a certain amount of money in reserves. So each bank lends each other bank overnight money for that. That rate is at 5.25. That is the best possible rate. A couple of years ago, that rate was down to 2 point something. Why that's important is that's the rate that triggers the rest of interest rates that follow that. The prime rate is the rate a bank lends to its best customer. And that is 3 points over the Fed fund rate, which is again now 8%, which is extremely high. People can't borrow and will not borrow money at these rates. And if you don't borrow money, your economy doesn't get stimulated. The gross domestic product of the United States went up a meager, I think, 1% in April. But if you measure the gross domestic product, a lot of that is government spending. Part of the formula of the gross domestic product encompasses government spending, which what I'm saying is if the White House is spending your tax dollars on the GDP side, that's a positive. But in reality, they're spending your money. There's something called the Purchase Managers Index. Typically, the Purchase Manager Index tells economists the confidence in purchase managers, how they feel about hiring in the future, shipping, inventory. That's been down. Mortgage rates are over 7%. The unemployment rate is 3.9%, but forget that. What's happening here is the government is hiring people. It's government hiring. A government hire is an expense. This is a shell game, a tremendous shell game they're playing here. If you're driven down your local highway, you'll notice there's so many strip malls that are empty. Things are not good. An NBC poll says 44% of American youth feel the job market is pretty bad. From ages 18 to 34, American youths are not saving money. This is the same poll. 30% feel taxes are too high. 54% fear inflation. Guys, we're beyond inflation. If you take government spending out of GDP, we've been in recession for months, and we are in stagflation. Don't let them bullshit you with this. TikTok is being sued. They want to turn that over to, take it out of Chinese hands. When you look at government hiring, here's another game they're playing. When you hire a part-time person or full-time person, it matters as it counts all the same as a job. And what's happening in America is people are taking more than one job. And what the government is saying is that one person that has two jobs are two jobs. This is a total crock of shit they're handing you. The Inflation Reduction Act, there's still money being flushed through the economy. It was only a couple of months ago when the government stopped paying for rental assistance from COVID, and COVID's been over for a while. To get to some other things, Huawei has been passed Apple as the largest phone distributor in China. The Biden administration has outlawed Huawei, which I think is a good move. Microsoft has gotten $3.5 billion from the CHIPS Act to build a plant in Wisconsin. The European Central Bank may be cutting before the Fed. The president has announced 100% tariff on Chinese cars. I don't understand all this about the electric vehicles, where the president wants within 5 years, 6 years, every car to be electric, when there's no electric infrastructure to support that. Battery life for cars, you can't drive more than 300 miles. Nobody wants them. 31% of America says they don't want electric cars, but yet they're still trying to force that down people's throats. And it's not people my age. These are 18 to 34-year-olds that don't want this. Bitcoin has been approved in Hong Kong. Warren Buffett has sold some Apple. What's happening now is people are starting to get smarter with their education. And I sort of think it's good with all these demonstrations on college about Hamas, because people are thinking now there are different opportunities to get a career without going to 4-year college. You don't need to go for 4-year college. 30% of Gen Xers have decided to go into trade schools. They've given up on this college thing. I hope that I convinced you that you better get ready. Things are not good in America. I said I wouldn't, my personal opinion, which I decided to add at the last moment, is that we've been in recession for a long time. We are in stagflation like the 70s. But the White House is just gaslighting you, moving statistics around. Again, I want to thank you for your time. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and have a great day.